So let's go ahead and let's scale this cube down. I'm going to scale it down real small, bring it up, and I'm going to scale that down, switch to a wireframe mode, and we can see where this needs to go. Let me go to point mode, select the front points here, and move them back to about here. I'm going to select these back points, and I'm going to move these about right there. Let me select the ones on the top, and I'm going to move them down to about here. And I'm going to select these on the bottom and move those down to about right there. Okay, so there's our little cube object, which we're going to use to create the top little handle piece for this. And you can see in our camera viewport it's too wide. Shouldn't be that wide. Let's look at this image. It should be wider than this top part, but not by too much. You don't want to exaggerate it. So what I'm going to do is scale this down to about something like this. Is going to look pretty good, like that. Let me go back to the side view here, and let me switch to wireframe mode, and we can see what it is that we need to do here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to point mode, select these bottom corner points there, and move them like this. That way, that back area, if I switch to shaded view, you can see this better. This back area is slanted down like this, just like that piece is in the reference image. What I'm going to do next is go to edge mode, and I'm going to select all these edges right here. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to subdivide edges with split control. And wow, it placed it almost exactly where I needed it. I probably just have to move it back just a little tiny bit, but even that's being pretty picky. Awesome job by XSI right there. Let me look at my reference image. Okay, we don't have this strange looking piece, this thing right here from that I'm outlining with my mouse here. We don't seem to have that in this reference image, so I'm not going to model that because I really can't tell what in the world that is from this 2D side drawing. And I can tell here that we don't have that, so I'm just going to go ahead and skip that because I don't even know what it is. So sometimes you run into an issue like that with reference images where you can't figure out what something is, something doesn't make sense. So sometimes you just got to make design decisions and know when to add stuff in that's not there and cut stuff out that shouldn't be there. So I'm going to select this bottom polygon here from the handle piece, and that's the one I'm going to use to create this long piece that goes down. So let's hit Control D to extrude, and I'm going to take this and move it down. You're probably wondering where I'm going to move it down to. Well, I'm going to move it really far down to about right here, to about the point where the handle stops going at a slanted 45-degree angle and starts to go straight down. I'm going to go to point mode and select these points and move them over like this so they could join their buddies over there. And then you can see right here we have to add some more detail in order to be able to go ahead and, well, get this looking the way it's supposed to. So I'm going to go to edge mode and select all these edges here. I'm going to right click, go to split edges with split control, and I'm going to move this split about right here. Looks pretty good. I'm going to go to point mode, select these points right there and move them back a little bit. Go back to edge mode, select these edges, right click on the object, go to split edges with split control. I'm going to grab these points, move them back like this a little bit to match up with the object better. Okay, so something like that's pretty good. Now we have to add some detail up here, so I'm going to grab these edges here, right click, go to split edges with actually for this one I'm going to do something different. I'm going to go to subdivide edges evenly. I'm going to make a couple of subdivisions here, close that PPG. I'm going to go to point mode, select these points and move them over here, select these points and move them over here like this. That's going to give us a better result for the shape right there that we're supposed to get. Now all we have to do is take this bottom polygon and extrude it straight down and make this final part. Let me look at the reference image. Okay, so yeah, we're about right there. We need to extrude that down this way. So that's what we're going to do right now. So let's go over here in our camera viewport here. And we can see that we need to go ahead and select this polygon down there. Let's go back to our side view. Hit Control D to extrude. Use the move tool and pull this down like this. And we can see right here we have a little detail area right there. So what we're going to do is hit Control D to extrude again. Extrude to about right here. Then hit Control D to extrude again and bring it all the way down to the bottom. And now go to point mode and select these points. Hold down Shift, select these points and move these back like this. And there we go. We got that piece taken care of. But I think that this part should probably be thinner. So I'm going to grab these points here and these points. I'm going to move them back. And again, it's a discrepancy with the reference image. The mechanical piece it's a machined piece. It's machined. It should be perfectly straight, but the drawing is not. So that's why sometimes you just can't exactly do what the drawing says one for one, or else you're going to run into problems like that where things just don't match up the way they're supposed to. So as long as you're following the reference pretty good, you're going to be in good shape. So let me take these points up here, all of these points, move them up a little bit like that. And what I'm going to do here is take all of these edges up here, right click. I'm going to go to split edges with split control. I'm going to move this split up a little bit like this. And I'm going to have a polygon to extrude to create this piece that comes and goes like that. So that's going to be pretty easy to do. All I have to do is hit U to go to ray casting polygon mode. Select this polygon right. Actually, it's the top one. I'm sorry about that. It's this top polygon that's up here. Right there, that one. Hit Control D to extrude. Pull this extrusion out like this. Okay. Go to point mode. I'm going to select these points and move them forward a bit. Select these points on the bottom, move them back a little bit. Go back to polygon mode. You should still have the same polygon selected if you didn't deselect it before. Hit Control D to extrude. Pull this down like this and go to point mode and start to adjust some of these points to follow the image as best as possible. Go to polygon mode again, and what we're going to do is extrude. Control D to extrude. Go down like that's pretty good. Hit Control D to extrude again. Pull this to the side over here. Then let's go to point mode and let's start to tweak this and get it into position better. Go back to polygon mode, extrude again, and bring this up to about here. Go to point mode and start to tweak some of these points, get them into position a lot better. Go back to polygon mode. Let's make one last extrusion. Bring that to about right here. And then let's just flatten these out like this. And move that polygon up like that. And we're good to go right there. Okay. Now we can see that we have a piece here that is overlapping this piece right there. That's really not a big deal. We're supposed to have that because if you look here, you'll notice that you have this piece that sticks out right here, and it's where this little pin goes. The little safety pin goes in right there and holds the keeps the handle in place so it doesn't fly off and activate the grenade. But before I go ahead and start doing that, you'll notice that I've been working with polygons this whole time. I haven't gone ahead and sub-D'd this. And that's because sometimes you can work in sub-D mode and sometimes you can work in polygon mode. Really doesn't matter as long as you get the job done. So I'm going to select this object and hit the plus key on the number pad of the keyboard a few times to go ahead and subdivide it down. And you can see that it changed shape completely. So now it's up to us to come in here and fix that. So let me go here to my camera viewport. I'm going to hit I on the keyboard to switch to edge ray casting mode. Select this edge here. Alt and middle mouse button, click this edge up here. Let me try that again. There we go. Just be careful you don't let go of Alt before you actually select that second edge, or that happens. I'm going to right click and go to split edges with split control. And I'm going to move this split toward one end over here. I'm going to select that edge, Alt middle mouse button, click that edge. And I'm going to hit the period key on the keyboard to repeat the last command, which was the split edge command, and move this toward this edge over here. Real close. It's got to be pretty sharp actually. Okay. So now we got that down, and now this is starting to sharpen up much better. Okay, so we can do some render regions and see how this is coming out. And it's not coming out bad at all. It's actually coming out really good. I'm pretty satisfied with this. Okay, now let's look at this reference image. We can see at this part, which is right here, and it's different in both reference images. Here we have a long distance between this curved piece and this piece right there, and in this in the real picture, that distance is not even there. It's just right up here, real close to this piece. So both of our reference images are different. So it's really up to you to artistically make the decision that you want, and go with whatever looks good. Hey, it's your project. Do it however you want. Of course, if this was for a client, you would have to conform to the client's needs. Okay. Let me tuck that away. Let me go over here to my camera viewport. I'm going to select this edge here. Alt and middle mouse button, click this edge to select an entire ring of edges all the way around. Right click and go to split edges with split control, and let's move this split up toward the top here to straighten this piece out. Okay, that's pretty good. Let me see how that looks rendered. That's not bad. I like that. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. Now it's a little bit too soft for my taste, so I'm going to select that ring of edges again and make a second split. So I'm going to right click, split edges with split control, and bring this up, because I want this piece here to be pretty sharp. In my opinion, it was just too soft. It was too soft. I want it to look more like a pretty hard piece of metal. Okay, that's much better. Okay, awesome. This part I want to continue to curve. And in this part right here, I want it to straighten out. So I'm going to select this edge, Alt and middle mouse button, click that edge right there to select the entire ring. I'm going to right click, go to split edges with split control, pull this back to about right there is pretty good. Let's render that out. That's looking pretty nice. I like that. Okay, not bad. Let's come down here and let's fix this this area up. I'm going to go over here to my side view. I'm going to go down here, go to edge mode, hitting E on the keyboard for that, regular edge mode, not raycasting. Select these edges, right click on top of the object. I'm going to go to split edges with split control. I'm going to move this split down. And if I switch to a shaded view, I can see how when I move it down, it just sharpens it out really nice. And I think only one split right there is going to be good enough. I'm going to go back to edge mode, and I'm going to select all these edges up here. Right click, split edges with split control. I'm going to move this split down like this because I want to sharpen this area up down here so it looks better. And if you hold down shift while you move this slider, you get a more refined control. So let me select these edges down here, right click, go to split with split control, split edges with split control, move that up right there, get that nice and sharp. I'm going to select these edges down here, right click, split edges with split control. Remember, you could be using the period key to speed this up by repeating the last command that you did. I'm going to select these edges in the middle here, and I'm going to hit the period key to repeat my last command. Move that down like that. It's nice and sharp. Usually 3 edges is more than enough to get this thing looking good. Now if we come over here, this is what we've got. Okay. Alright, so it's not looking bad, not looking bad at all. Now there is something else I want to do. Just to make this look more detailed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I select this edge, Alt middle mouse button, click this edge here. So now I have the entire ring of edges that runs all along the middle of this object. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to split edges or subdivide edges evenly to make one cut down the middle. Then what I'm going to do is select this edge here, the new edge, Alt middle mouse button, click this edge, and you'll select the entire loop of edges all the way around the middle of this object. Now with that loop of edges selected, all you got to do is right click, go to Bevel Components. I'm going to increase this distance, and I'm going to want to probably increase it more. So let me try a distance of 4, and that's too much. So let me try 3. 3 is pretty good. Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to go with 3. Yeah, I'm probably going to go with 3. I think 3 is going to work out just fine. I'll leave it at 3. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down in here. Let me hit the minus key on the number pad of my keyboard just to down-res this sum. What I want to do is I want to select some of these middle polygons. So let's do this. With this object selected, I'm going to go to over here to this camera icon. I'm going to go down to isolate selection. That's going to isolate the selected object, hence why it's called isolate selection. Now what I'm going to do is go hit U on the keyboard to go to raycasting polygon mode, and I'm going to go ahead and select some of these polygons. So for example, I'm going to select, let me see which ones I want to select here. I'm going to select this polygon definitely, this one as well, and probably just those. I'm just going to select those for now, see how this turns out. And I'm also going to select this one right here and this one up here. So just those. So from this polygon down to this one right here. Okay? And now I'm going to go over here to my camera icon. I'm going to uncheck isolate selection to bring this stuff back out. I'm going to hit the plus key to go ahead and sub-D this again so it's nice and smooth. And then what I'm going to do is go to my side view here, switch to wireframe. I'm going to use the move tool and I'm going to move these polygons back. Something like this is pretty good. Now what I'm making sure is that this area doesn't clip and come out the back like this. See that? See how it came out the back? That's not what I want to have happen. That obviously would be really bad. So let me go back to my camera viewport here, and you could see the type of shape that I created by doing that. If you look very carefully here, I sort of created this metallic type indentation, just like the real picture has. It's hard to see, but inside this metallic piece, it's actually concave inside of there. So you don't have to make that detail, but if you do, it's going to make a huge difference. And it's going to show that you're pretty competent and you really know what you're doing and you pay attention to detail, which is usually what people and what companies want to see. So let me go back here to polygon mode, and I isolated selection again just like I did before. Select those two polygons up there. Let me go to wireframe, and I'm going to pull these back like this, and I'm making sure that they don't clip out the back. I don't want them to clip out the back like this. That wouldn't be good, obviously. So I'm moving them back like this. Okay? Let me switch back to shaded view. I'm going to go to edge mode, and I'm going to select this edge right there, edge mode raycasting. And I'm going to move this edge back like this. And I'm going to select, let me go to shaded mode, I'm going to select this edge as well. Go to wireframe. And just look at this from the side and just move this back like so. That's going to make this look fantastic. And I want to do the same thing to this bottom area down here. So with raycasting edge mode activated, that's I on the keyboard, I'm going to select all of these edges, and I'm even going to select all of these edges down here. And remember, to make multiple selections, hold shift. I'm going to go to wireframe mode, and from a sort of side angle, I'm going to push this back like this. And I can see that I have to select these top ones right there and push them back more. So it's something like that. Okay, so that's what we've got. And if we subdivide this, we can see that we do in fact have that nice sort of concave look inside the handle, the same way that the grenade looks in real life. And that, believe it, it may seem like something pretty dumb, but it's actually something that is going to add a lot of depth and detail to your objects when you model them in XSI. Especially if you're making some kind of next-gen object, or if you're making if you're trying to learn how to model things in detail for your portfolio or your demo reel. You definitely want to do that kind of stuff, because it could mean a difference between you beating somebody else out for a 3D modeling job. That kind of attention to detail is really important. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like that. I'm pretty satisfied with that. I'm going to come up here to the camera icon, and I'm going to turn isolate selection off to bring back the rest of the grenade. I'm going to hit plus a few times on the handle to subdivide it, and I'm going to deselect it simply by selecting empty space out here. And there we go. Now the grenade is almost done. The only piece left is to take care of this little piece here with the pin. So we're going to do that right now.